our song. Let's sing it. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Come on, it's gonna be fucking awesome. You know the words. It's gonna be fucking awesome. That's it, say. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Yeah!
Hey you guys, it's Jesse Blaze Snider, the Coolest Geek Alive. How are you doing? I'm doing pretty great. It is freshly September 19th, which is my birthday. I'm turned 42 today. And I'm here seeing my girlfriend and my brother, and things are good. Life is good. I am slept a little bit on the airplane over here. I didn't do the show this morning because I was traveling, because I've actually got some major dental things going on. I have a pathway between my teeth and my sinuses, and I'm like drinking things and having it come out my nose. It's very funny, but not super fun. So I got to get that taken care of, and then I've got a session on Friday. So all sorts of good things going on, and it's my birthday. So yay, birthday! So I forgot that I wanted to talk about this, and then I got reminded of it this evening as I was about to do another episode. I want to do a big episode on Gremlins 2, because Gremlins 2 is one of my favorite movies ever. But this Agatha all along thing, this conversation is well overdue, because today I was on Twitter, and I just kept seeing all these strange comments about, basically some people who are casual fans who didn't understand why the fans weren't interested in Agatha all along. Now, I can tell you this right off the bat. I've talked about these things before. It's when you're, not to just say when you're an educated fan, but when you're a fan who is actively purchasing things, buying things, it's you become the equivalent of the guy playing fantasy football, and you know all the ins and outs of the stuff because you need to, because you want to win the game. You want to save money on your toys and on your statues, and you want to get things at the right time and know when special things are coming out and blah, 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 blah. So similarly, when you're a reader, you know what the fans are going to be interested in as soon as they announce it. And various things that'll get said, and you go, okay, well, people aren't going to be super excited about that. One of the big things I'll just say in general is for once and for always, real fans have been sick of origin stories for fucking forever. They make the origin stories for the casual fan who doesn't really know the thing that well, and they keep, but we've heard the origin story told and retold a million times in the comics. So the origin story is sort of background, because the origin story is just sort of the jumping off point that gets us to a future that is rife with villains and various interconnectivity, friendships and enemies, and various histories and rogues galleries, and a sense that sort of anything can happen, and that they're living in this world that's so much bigger than them. The world that they're living in when you do the origin story is very small. The world starts out very small. And, it was the Marvel Universe that was able to give us that bigger world that we've been missing. And in the expansion of the world, there's all sorts of things that might have been interesting for Marvel to explore. However, Agatha Harkness is not one of them. There's a whole bunch of other examples of this, but let's just start with Agatha. Because the main thing is, she is a supporting character. She, comes out in the Fantastic Four as a kind of mentor, or they call it a governess, where I was reading. I don't know exactly. I didn't read these issues, but I had generally, I think I've read some stuff with her in it, but I didn't remember. She was never a big enough deal I was like, who is that? And then I was sort of reminded, I'm like, okay, yeah, I think I've seen her in the background of like some things, but she's like a very minor character. I'm a huge fan of Marvel Comics. I have read literally thousands of Marvel Comics. And I had no familiarity with this character. This is the level of character that it is. But if we were honoring the character that it is, one, she's an old lady. Why not cast a great old lady? Like, that's like one of my big things in the first place. Like, Catherine Hahn, as far as I was concerned, even though I love Catherine Hahn, I really do, she wasn't the right casting choice. They should have cast, like, I don't know, Helen Mirren or some great older woman who could do it. There's some great older ladies, especially some great British ladies who I love, who actually look. What's the lady? I think she passed away. The lady who played Granny Wendy in Hook. I'm forgetting what her name is now, but she like even looks kind of like the Agatha Harkness, the way she was depicted in the comic book. Okay, so she's not really being depicted the way she looks in the comic. She's not an old ancient witch lady. She's, the beautiful and charming and funny Catherine Hahn. So, so that's just strange right off the bat right there. Okay. Then you have the fact that she was introduced with the Fantastic Four. Granted, after the Fantastic Four stuff, she ends up as, because she goes on and off in the Fantastic Four for a while, but then she ends up in the Vision and the Scarlet Witch miniseries in 82 and 83, and she's a mentor to Wanda. So, the precedent for her being in the TV show is great, except, why couldn't she have been her old lady neighbor, and gotten somebody that fit more of that motif? Like right there, they're not recreating the Thing, okay? Just first off. So she continues. She helps Wanda with her pregnancy. She's in Avengers West Coast. Again, helping Wanda, in the background as a background character. And then, in Fantastic Four, she dies at the hands of Scarlet Witch, apparently. And this is 95. And then in 2004, they revisit her death in another like Avengers thing. And then there's a Scarlet Witch series. She appears as a ghost mentoring Wanda. So she's a mentor to Wanda. Okay. Notice I haven't said, and then in Agatha Harkness 1 through fucking, there are no Agatha Harkness comic books. Okay. Get into that in a second. Closest you get to, she's at the Hellfire Gala in 2021, part of a major event involving mutants. Okay, so she's there in the background. And then Darkhold Alpha and Darkhold Omega in 2021 and 2022. She plays a significant role in this event centered around the Darkhold and the magical lore of the Marvel Universe. Okay, now again, it's not Agatha Harkness. It's the Darkhold, which the Darkhold, and then it goes into the Midnight Suns in 2022. It's a group of super cool, people, like Blade, and in this version of it, they've got apparently Spider-Man and Doctor Doom and Scarlet Witch, but this is recent. So they've had this friggin' Agatha thing announced. Let me see. When was Agatha announced? So they got Catherine Hahn, let's see. They announced Agatha in 2021, and these comics were coming out in 2021, and they had introduced her. So these are recent books that they put in at the thing. These aren't books that have even had time to percolate in the consciousness of people, be collected into trade paperbacks that get read over and over again, and then people are like, man, I'd love to see Agatha in this Darkhold thing. Again, it's not called Agatha. It's called the Darkhold. And it stars a whole cadre of fucking awesome characters, not Agatha. She's not the main character. She's never been a main character. So when you're seeing fans go, I don't care about this. it's very reasonable. It's like, yeah, we're gonna make this. I'm trying to make a good example. It's not even like it's a fan favorite character in the comics where we've been like, man, how come they won't make this character into a thing? You know, like there's characters that we like who don't get enough fucking screen time or whatever. Or, you know, characters like Warlock in the X-Men or whatever else that people are clamoring to see eventually. You know, but this isn't one of them. Agatha Harkness isn't like a character we're like, oh God. So, you know, and really, as far as I'm concerned, all the motivation for doing anything with her in the first place is the fact that they cast Catherine Hahn in this role. And casting Catherine Hahn in the first place was, as far as I'm concerned, towards the fans, a mistake. Because it wasn't selling us on anything that we wanted to see.
What up, Coolest Geeks? It's time to power up for the fall with Factor's no hassle, no fuss meals. Stay on track with your wellness goals just in time for fall thanks to a menu filled with chef-inspired meals. Choose from options like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, or Keto. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are dietitian approved and ready to eat in just 2 minutes. So no matter how busy life gets, you'll always have time to enjoy wholesome, flavorful meals. Start your new healthy routine today. With 35 meals and over 60 add-ons available every week, there's always something new to enjoy. Fuel your day from breakfast to dessert with easy, nutritious choices. Indulge in restaurant-quality meals featuring premium ingredients like filet mignon, shrimp, and blackened salmon. And save time in the kitchen. Factor meals are ready in just 2 minutes. No shopping, prepping, cooking, or cleaning required. That's right. Get effortless support for your lifestyle. Choose from 6 menu preferences to help you manage calories, boost protein, skip meat, or simply enjoy a balanced meal. Head to factormeals.com/CGA50 and use code CGA50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month. That's code CGA50 as in Coolest Geek Alive, CGA50 at factormeals.com/CGA50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month while your subscription is active. Do it, my Coolest Geeks. Later.
Aubrey Plaza's character, all these characters. The only character that I recognize from the trailer, and I haven't watched the show. I'm not interested in the show. I don't care. She's not a. I watched Iron Man because I read a lot of Iron Man comics and I wanted to see Iron Man, and they did a good job, you know, for the most part, even though they didn't follow the comics as much as I would like to have seen too. There's so many more things from the comics that I would like to see done in the films, and you know, everything as far as I'm concerned is a little bit off the rails from the stories. You know, it's like everybody loves The Lord of the Rings because they read the book and the book was great, and then somebody went and made a movie that was relatively close to the book. And you can appreciate it, and it can be shared, you know, from the people who read the book and the people. We can all appreciate the same things, ultimately, about the experience of seeing that movie or watching. That's not the case anymore with these, you know, with these films. You know, the first Iron Man movie and a little bit the second Iron Man movie definitely has, like, the feel of some Iron Man comics. You know, the third film, and now he's dead. And there's more Iron Man stories that could be told, and they're doing an Armor Wars series. I would have loved to see Armor Wars with Iron Man in it. Iron Man stars in the Armor Wars thing, not War Machine. And War Machine's a fucking Skrull now, so why would I want to see the Skrull version of War Machine starring in an armor? Shit is so stupid, man. They really, like, they don't understand what they're doing. They're supposed to be lovingly adapting the comic books that they've sold and resold. So many of these stories have been told over and over and over again. The only character I recognize besides Agatha, who I barely recognize, is Wiccan, who is one of Scarlet Witch's children. Okay. Wiccan is one of the main characters in the Young Avengers, whose original name is Asgardian. And I love that character. And he is not being depicted like the character. I like that character. I don't understand why we had to change the character. There was a great gay character in comics. It was written by Alan Heinberg, who wrote the OC back in the day, which is a cool show people liked. And he came in and he wrote these Young Avengers stories. They were amazing. It was a kind of a mystery, the way that they were like introduced and right from the jump, and it was really awesome. And they are fucking up everything. They've got Miss Marvel introduced so early that she's going to make sense to be on the Young Avengers. She's not supposed to be on the Young Avengers. We got that fucking chick from Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness who punches star-shaped portals, America Chavez. She eventually becomes a member of the Young Avengers. I haven't read a lot of those issues, but stories tend to revolve around her powers, with her opening up fucking portals is the problem. So I think they're going to skip over all the great fucking stories that there were to tell in the comics, and now they're just like mangling shit that I was interested in, but not like this. They clearly have no reverence for the source material. And I hope you don't, there's no reason to be upset with me or whatever. I just have no interest at all in the Agatha show. Just like I had no interest at all in the Echo show. And the Echo show is different, because the Echo show, I like Echo. But again, Echo is a background character. Echo is a supporting character, a sort of similar to Elektra kind of character for Daredevil. She's an interesting character. She was a kind of love interest, somebody who shared some similarities with him. She was very feminine, very beautiful, drawn by David Mack. This really butch woman who they hired to portray her in the show, she's just nothing like the character that I love. I love that character. I'd love to see Echo. I would have liked to see an Echo series, actually, if they were making her like she is in the show. And elegantly portrayed. But they changed her completely. If you saw that Echo show, and I just heard about it and saw lots of clips, stuff like that. They went full retard, as the joke goes in Tropic Thunder. Forgive those triggered by words. We can't be triggered by words, guys. We got to be able to have conversations and talk intellectually and be able to laugh, But really, they completely changed the character. I loved, those were some early comics, me reading those David Mack Echo comics where she was introduced, and she was cool. She was beautiful. I really liked that character. I wanted to see more of her. I was glad when she showed back up. Wasn't thrilled with how she was handled by everybody, and I don't think anybody's ever really done as great a job with her as she was just initially portrayed, with some hints of something that was wonderful and similarities to Daredevil that, made him think and made him relate to people and made him less selfish, and it's interesting. But that's not what you got from that Echo series. A better example is Madam Web. I don't know that they've ever done a Madam Web solo anything. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think so. If they did, it's nothing important. It's nothing that like I went around as a professional comic book writer when I knew I was going to do that, and I started searching for all of the important runs, everything that was considered really great, the great runs of Avengers and the great runs of independent comics and the great runs of the Justice League and whatever else, so that I could be studied on the stuff that mattered to the fans of comics. And Madam Web, as her own a leading lady, leading a team of other Spider-Girls? No. Never. And once again, Madam Web is an old blind lady in a cosmic wheelchair. She's which is kind of weird. Weird concept. Not one of my particularly favorite concepts from Spider-Man at all. And I don't think one of anybody's particular favorite concepts from Spider-Man at all is Madam Web. So, an odd choice. And we're going to take Madam Web and we're going to give her her own thing. And then we're going to give her these three sidekicks, right? So I didn't grow up with the Julie Carpenter Spider-Man, but I know there's some cool stories with her that people like my buddy Aaron Sparrow, who's a little older than me, would love to see told on the big screen. But she was never in a little trio of Spiderettes in the comics. There's that Maddie Franklin Spider-Girl, which I read that comic. That comic was never very good. They tried to do a bunch of things with her. There was a couple things that they did that were okay, but like in general, it wasn't very good. It didn't do well, didn't last long. They kept trying to introduce some sort of Spider-Girl type character, and to various degrees of success and not success. I read all those books for the large part because I had a daughter, and I wanted to find comic books that I could recommend to her that would be really good for her. So there was another one, and she's the other part of the trio, called Ariana. It was like a Spanish, Arana. It was Spanish for spider. And she had an interesting design, and I liked the art in the book. And there was something cool about that comic book. And I read that one a little bit, and that might have been cool to try on their part. This cool Spider-Girl bit that was just, on its own. I mean, like, that is actually based on something. There's a little bit of a fan base for that thing. It's a relatively small fan base, but they did do a push for it, and it was a pretty good attempt compared to lots of attempts that they make at things like this. They'll try to get more female characters across, or more, whatever it might be. And what tends to be the case is they just overthink these things, and and it's. I say easy. I want to say easier said than done, but I mean, they could be doing it better. They just have a tendency to sort of like try the same thing over and over again. Like Miss Marvel did not go over with the fans. They should have really rested her, and tried some other thing, or brought in somebody really talented to write the thing, and and get it across with fans. Good writers and good creative people can get things across the board, but it's like you got to do the work. So, Madam Web and the three Spider-Girl. I mean, it's just like, what is this? What have you adapted here? This isn't the stories of Madam Web. The stories of Madam Web revolve around Spider-Man. I mean, this is a big problem with most of the Sony things. Kraven the Hunter, he revolves around Spider-Man. They're making a Kraven the Hunter where he's saving the animals. That's not Kraven the fucking Hunter. That's fucking... This is bizarre. And, Venom, half the problem, well, Venom's fun and shit, but, like, at the same time, for fans, it's definitely like because his whole thing revolves around Spider-Man. So getting him in cahoots with Spidey is like really important, because like his origin and the stories that we want to see told, they include Spider-Man. And that's just the simple facts of it. And the same thing when it comes to Madam Web and Kraven the Hunter, Morbius, even though Morbius has at least starred in his own books. Kraven has starred in his own book here, there, but, it's after being springboarded by Spider-Man. He's a popular character. He's cool. He's interesting. But his books have never lasted very long. One of them was like starring his kid, But I mean, he's a great character. I mean, I really think they probably could have done a really cool Kraven movie if they had stuck to the character, but they didn't. So I'm telling you right now, that one's probably not going to go over with fans. And it's going to be another one where people are like, I don't understand. Why is everybody like projecting this before it's come out? Well, because it doesn't have anything to do with anything. I mean, it's that simple. Now, there's another example over in the DC universe of things. And I mean, I've talked about so many of these announcements that James Gunn made that, just like, this doesn't really line up a lot of stuff for the fans as far as I can see in any way that we're going to like. There's so many stories that we're waiting to see told, and we're still waiting. It's like it doesn't make any sense to tell the stories that they're telling. I did a nice episode on, telling Sony what they should do, a couple different approaches that they could have to making a Sony film universe and having it matter to fans and be, be something that we'll actually go to the movies to see, because they're just, flying by the seat of their pants. And, they got lucky with Venom because they went all the way with like the looks to a certain degree, but still I'm dying to get that white spider across his chest. It's like this is the shit that makes the character. And without it, what are we? I don't know what we are. We are not quite Venom. So, Birds of Prey, the emancipation of Harley Quinn. Birds of Prey. Is that what the fucking movie's called? Now look, Harley Quinn has had her own solo comic. The Birds of Prey is also its own solo comic. I love Birds of Prey. I've read Birds of Prey, like, I don't know. I've read most of the back issues that I could get a hold of, and I read it as long as it was running. It starred Barbara Gordon, redhead, glasses, in a wheelchair. She had been paralyzed by the Joker. She'd become a character known as Oracle, who eventually, as time went on, became like the sort of like hacker, back-end communicator, connecting piece, electronics person for the Justice League and the Justice Society, just like helping everybody. It was really freaking cool, especially because she was overcoming her disability. I just loved Barbara's character. And Dick Grayson was one of my favorite characters, and she was this beautiful redhead, who had this indomitable will to survive, and overcome, the thing, and keep being useful and keep fighting the good fight. And I just loved that, and I loved her. I hated when they took her out of the wheelchair, even though, you want to see your person that you love come out of the wheelchair. At the same time, she was like a pillar of strength in this amazing way. And she was leading her best buddy, Black Canary, who Black Canary's got kind of like a convoluted history with, like, because she's supposed to be like the daughter of the original Black Canary, but her and Oliver Queen are like, boyfriend, girlfriend kind of thing. Even though, like, I think he was supposed to be boyfriend, girlfriend with the original Black. See, yeah, that's like, I don't understand. But I love Green Arrow. I read a lot of Green Arrow back in the day. And so liked Black Canary as well, and liked, the connection between those two characters. And they did occasionally have some additional friends on the Birds of Prey. I think Huntress was, a character who was on and off again, and occasionally some others. But that group was Barbara Gordon in a wheelchair as the coordinator of all of her agents who were out in the field, mainly Black Canary, who's blonde in her fishnet stockings and, ass kicking, that Harley Quinn has never been a part of their team. As far as I know, the Cassandra Cain Batgirl that is in that movie has never been a part of that team. And I love the Cassandra Cain Batgirl. She's fucking great. She's a great character. She's a mute who learned the language of movement before she learned language, and like when she's introduced in the comics, she doesn't speak, and it's fucking awesome. I hated that they changed that. Her comic, written by Kelly Pluckett and drawn by Damian Scott, I think. So cool. It was just really great. She never said anything. She was a fucking woman of few words, but like she was thinking, and she would think in simplistic terms. And her dad and her mom were the two greatest assassins in the DC universe, David Kane and Lady Shiva. And and Batman became her adopted dad to like she's a cool character, man. She had a cool look, stitched on face, and she had a just a black bat suit with the face covered up, was stitched up. And dude, that character in the freaking Birds of Prey movie, oh God, what a disservice to the fucking awesome character that Cassandra Cain is. I'd have taken a fucking back row movie of her in a minute. So awesome. She's a cool character. And Barbara Gordon was, what a powerful character she is in the wheelchair and as Oracle. And she's not even a part of this. You got Huntress, Black Canary, and Batgirl, whose name is supposed to fucking be in there. And Huntress, she's not wearing her outfit and looking like her. And Black Canary, they recast as a light-skinned black girl with kind of curly hair or whatever. Like, she doesn't look like... It's funny, too, because they could have cast that girl and they could have put her in a blonde wig. Like, she goes out in a blonde wig when she's Black Canary. Like, that's her fucking secret identity. I think that was part of Black Canary's thing, that the Black Canary wig was the secret identity, and she had different color hair underneath the wig. Just like when fans see these things, they're just like, why do I want to see that? You're ignoring everything that I care about. I mean, the beginning of the breakdown of the Marvel Universe for fans was Captain Marvel. When they put out Captain Marvel, and everybody was like tricked into seeing it because it was so important for the thing, and it wasn't exactly important, and the story was unsatisfying. The first graphic novel ever is The Death of Captain Marvel, the man version that Captain Marvel inherits this mantle from. And that bit should have been honored. They could have had that movie be her coming up in the end and saving the day and picking up the mantle after he passes away, told one of the most classic Marvel stories, and then and then continued it from there. I love Captain Marvel. I mean, I didn't read those original Captain Marvels. I read later iterations of Captain Marvel, including the Carol Danvers Captain Marvel, which they never really were able to get right. It was always, they were pushing very hard to try to make it a thing, and I liked the Carol Danvers character okay, but ultimately over time they made me really not like her because they just pushed her on you too hard. Hey, Ozzy Ozcat, you need to stop fucking meowing so much. You're not going outside right now. And sorry, my cat is going nuts. His name is Ozzy Ozcat. He has a song that goes, Ozzy Ozzy Oz, Ozzy Ozcat. He's like a lion, but with the seatbelt. Ozzy Ozzy Oz some more. Strike like a panther, keep it a secret. Okay, cool. He's calming down now. All right, no more meowing. I'm recording. So this is just like a problem across the board. And, now what we're about to get into in the Marvel Universe and with this James Gunn thing is the fuck it, we can't seem to satisfy the fans, so we're just going to like see what we can make of it all, and we're going to make it up ourselves because we can't make them happy anyway. And that's bullshit. They can totally make us happy. They were making us happy for a very long time. They just abandoned, storylines and things that we wanted to see recreated from the comics into the films and the TVs. And there's so many things that we've been waiting on for so long right now with the X-Men and the Fantastic Four and, seeing them in their real costumes. And now we've had to wait all this time and they haven't delivered anything except, oh, okay, here's Hugh Jackman in his costume. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, what that means is now we're about to go back. That means we're about to go down memory lane, especially because they're floundering. So they're going to go back to all these actors. They're going to bring back all these people. We're going to get Robert Downey Jr. We're going to get Chris Evans, and we're going to get Chris Hemsworth, and we're going to get Hugh Jackman and the original X-Men and the original Magneto and the original Charles Xavier, not dead this time, and we're going to get fucking Ghost Rider, and we're going to, like, I mean, and it'll be fun to see these things, and hopefully they will do it in a way that is satisfying in the way the comics were when these things would cross over, because that magic is the magic that we're all looking for ultimately. So that's one of the things that, you know, can come out of this that can be good. But I'm telling you, you know, it's going to be good to mediocre, and some of it is going to be terrible, because, you know, this whole idea of like Doctor Doom, and but now he's Tony Stark, that undermines Doctor Doom so badly, you know, the meaning of Victor Von Doom and, you know, his character. And I mean, I don't know, you know, I hope and I pray that these things will be good. You know, I want these things to succeed. But when you're putting out things like Agatha all along, you know, and, you know, next up is at least Ironheart, which there is a basis for that. But again, Ironheart, it's a bit of a rush job, a little too soon. Ironheart, Miss Marvel, they ended up in a modern version of the Champions, which would actually be really fun to bring to the big screen. But all of these things would have been fun to bring to the big screen eventually. You know, it's like you have to sell the audience on Captain Marvel before you sell the audience on Captain Marvel's biggest fan. That's what Miss Marvel is, fundamentally. She's Captain Marvel's biggest fan. Well, if Captain Marvel doesn't really have a lot of fans in the audience, what's the use of giving her a biggest fan in the universe when nobody else has a biggest fan? It's like, these are the reasons why Miss Marvel never worked in the comics like that, because they were never able to make Captain Marvel stick. And I think I do an episode about, like, you know, how they could have made Captain Marvel stick if you go back, and things that they could have done to sell her better to the audience and to make her earn her place, because she just never quite did. And then they did some things with her that were like really like egregious, like, you know, they had her basically be a part of the Gestapo during Civil War II, and, you know, and it was like basically a little Hitler Youth kind of metaphor that went down with Miss Marvel, you know, getting joined into this whole freaking government thing. It was really lame, and really made you not care for Captain Marvel's character. So yeah, I think that if you look at the list of there was another Sony thing that they were putting out. I forget what the fucking character's name. I think it was like El Muerto or something like that, and he's like some sort of like wrestling mask wearing dude, and they were gonna get this dude who was in that cool bullet train movie with Brad Pitt. Bad Bunny was, I don't know. He's a handsome looking guy, but like this character, I had no fucking clue who this character was. This character showed up in like one storyline ever, and I happened to not read it, and so many other people happened to not read it. I never heard about this character. Never. Oh, do you read that? Like, you know, people talk. You know, we read the books and then we go, oh, you haven't read this? Oh, no, that's so good. Oh no, it's so cool. There's a character like this. You know, like it's real simple how like comic books propagate themselves and continue to thrive, and you know, and build their audience. We're looking for good things, and we share the good things. But when these things are turned into TV shows and films, we're looking for the good things that we read in the comics to be turned into films and TV. So, you know, similar like the Rings of Power, it's been rejected by the audience who really cares about the books because it doesn't have anything to do with anything. It's just like these guys' interpretation. And who the fuck are these guys? Who the fuck is Jeff Bezos' interpretation? And like, it's just, it doesn't mean anything to us, because the meaning that we have comes from the books and our understanding of the mythology. So when you see fans not vibing with Agatha, please don't help the corporate establishment cover up their poor choices in their productions by propagating these bullshit lies about how the fans don't like gays or the fans don't like women or like, dude, we don't know who the fuck any of these people are. I don't know who Aubrey fucking Plaza's character is. Agatha Harkness has never had her own series. She's a background character in everything she's ever been in. What are you doing? Oh, we got Catherine Hahn. Okay. That means that you'll get people who don't read comics to maybe be interested in watching this, but your foundational audience has no interest in it whatsoever? Why not cast Catherine Hahn as fucking White Queen or somebody that does have a big part to play and we would like to see a bunch, instead of casting her as a supporting character that nobody asked to be brought up to the front, even if it is Catherine Hahn. I mean, Catherine Hahn's never really been in the front of a thing. Not that I don't think that Catherine Hahn can do it, but Jesus, give the lady a chance. Give her something fucking good, And it's not that like these things can't be, musical aspects can't be added to the thing and whatnot. I mean, all these things are fine if it was following a story that I've been championing be adapted into film. I haven't been championing, but fans like me who've been reading comics for decades, we've not been championing the bastardization of these great comics. We haven't been saying, hey, Hollywood, we think you could do better. Hey, Hollywood, we think that you could take this idea and improve it in every way, shape, and form because it's weak and it needs improvement. We've been saying, this shit is wonderful. Where the fuck are you guys? Get in here. Turn this into reality for us. We've been imagining this fantasy world and we want to see it made real. That's your job. That's Marvel, DC, any of these companies that are producing any of these things based on novels, based on comic books or comic strips or anything. You're supposed to be bringing the thing to life. That doesn't mean you can't improve it in ways. But in general, the look of it, people should be... You have been promoting this. You've been advertising it through all the different people who have handed around all the different books and all the different printings and all the different appearances of Agatha Harkness, what she looks like. So when she shows up, you go, oh, dude, I think that's fucking Agatha Harkness. When you go to a convention, everybody doesn't do their fucking interpretation of the characters. They try to be as accurate as possible when they cosplay. So you look up and you go, motherfucker, you look just like Gambit. You look just like Wolverine. You look just like Batman. You look just like the Joker. This is great. And people are essentially getting points for how fucking accurate they can be. You don't think the same sort of kudos is going to go for you in Hollywood if you can do the same thing? Especially if you can take that thing and make it authentically like the thing that we love, but just that much more? Of course. This is it. This is everything. Authentic. That's all we want. Just an authentic representation of the thing that we have grown up reading and enjoying. And Agatha Harkness isn't one of those things. She's a background character. Birds of Prey is one of those things, but not like that. Oh, another example in a different way. She-Hulk, I've talked about this many times. One day I'll do a long episode on She-Hulk and how much I fucking love her. But the Jennifer Walters character from the comic books is grateful. That is like a key tenet of her personality. She's the opposite of Bruce Wayne. I'm not Bruce Wayne. Bruce Banner. Bruce is like desperate to get rid of the Hulk. Jennifer loves being She-Hulk. She gets big and strong and sexy And she's already smart, and she's a lawyer, and she likes her job, and she likes what she does, and she's helping people, but she also gets to help people in the other way. And her cousin saved her life. She's alive because of him, and it's the She-Hulk is a blessing. And oh God, you do not get that impression at all. The She-Hulk that they made in the TV show, they essentially, I don't think they read any She-Hulk comics at all. I think they had no concept of the character at all. I think they had no concept that the character was a character, that she had a personality, that she was an existing entity. She's one of my favorite characters. She's like one of those characters who, like, you want to be her friend. You want to go hang out with her. She seems like the right kind of people. And not in that fucking show. That's not She-Hulk. And, I got a few episodes into that, and I went, fuck this. I love She-Hulk, and you guys are ruining it. Ruining it. I didn't watch fucking Sandman because of... nobody really looked like themselves. Death, in particular, was like the broken heart. Like, one of the coolest designs in comics is that Chris Bachalo... I don't know if he was the one who designed it, but Death. The Sandman's sister, Death. And she's like this cutesy little goth girl. White skin, black hair. And, really classic look and vibe. And you know her when you see her. You're like, yeah, there she is. There's Death. And, she's had her own series and mini-series and things like that. And really cool character. And then the person that they cast, and again, like, they cast a black lady, which I would have been cool with that if, like, why isn't her skin white? Well, like, why whiter skin and blacker hair? Like, she can be black and be looking like fucking Death from the... it drives me crazy, guys. It really does. I did the breakdown of The Boys recently, and like, how much they're going off the rails. And I mean, granted, they made some good changes initially, and then really just like whole show just fucking fell apart. It's disheartening. I'm really... I don't know what I'm going to be watching. I don't know, because I didn't watch Acolyte, and I'm not watching Agatha, and there's plenty of things that will be coming up, I'm sure, that I'll be excited about. But I mean, in general, just like slim pickings, because as a reader, I'm looking to see adaptations of the things that I've read. And please, like, I beg you all, like, on social media and stuff, don't be dicks to the fans, and don't be fucking trying to tell them that they're sexist and all this stuff. If somebody had written a great Agatha comic and we'd gotten sold on all these characters, there are people who could do it. And then we were like, man, you ever read that fucking Agatha thing? Oh, man, they're making an adaptation on the TV show. Fucking hey, Agatha all along. I love that comic. That's awesome. Then we'd go, and we would be talking about it. We'd be telling people, yeah, man, it looks like they're doing it, but they added some music, which is kind of cool because there was, like, spells in the comic, but, like, they couldn't sing because it's a comic book. So that's cool. You'd be into it. But, and even that thing of, like, they put out the Darkhold series that was like starring her and all these other huge heavy hitters in 2021. Again, it's not called Agatha. It's not called Agatha all along. If they had put it out as Agatha, if they had gotten a high-profile writer or somebody really quality to do something really good, and it became a little fan favorite of like, oh yeah, it's really cool, you got to read that. Awesome. And then you adapt that into your freaking TV show. But they don't like want to do it like that. They don't want to build up these things and do it the right way. It's like there's only one right way, and really it's the Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings model, not the Hobbit model, that turning the one book into fucking 3 movies. I mean, like, I want to cut down of that thing, just like the Hobbit book version of those 3 Hobbit movies. But the 3 Lord of the Rings movies, a loving send up to the books. Even still, J.R.R. Tolkien was they were the Tolkien estate was upset that it was so focused on the action, but it was lovingly done, and and for a mainstream audience, and blah 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 blah, but still had so many of the elements that were important and matter, and the depth of the books, and the heart of it all was not lost, and it was the type of thing that made you want to go read the books to get more depth and more understanding and of the whole picture. And that's it. That's what you really want to create. Agatha all along, this isn't going to lead anybody to reading the comics. This isn't going to lead to more propagation of the thing that we love. And like, if you want to keep making movies for all time and have this Marvel universe going forever, that's what you need. You need one hand to wash the other. You need the system to be supportive of itself. You need the comics to be sending the people to the movies, and then the movies to be sending people to the comics, and vice versa. And it's like, it's a relatively simple formula, actually. I don't understand what they don't understand. Anyway, it's my birthday, and I am getting tired, and it's I'm recording really late tonight, but this will go out tomorrow on my birthday. If you want to write me a happy birthday or anything at all, you can write to me at jesseblaze@jessesnider.com. You can check out my awesome music show every Monday, All Your Favorite Bands Suck, and my Friday Esoteric Wisdom Show, Everything They Don't Want You to Know. And Saturday, I'm going to be doing a show on something. I don't know. I want to do a longer episode on Gremlins. I think I might do a shorter episode on something else. I don't know. I'm figuring it out. Anyway, love you guys. Join me this Saturday and again next Wednesday for another fucking awesome episode of the Coolest Geek Alive. Love you, and wish me luck at the dentist. Peace out.
You've been listening to Coolest Geek Alive with me, your host, Jesse Blaze Snider. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe for more excellent geek culture content. Thanks for listening.
It's my favorite part! Isn't that heavy? I played that! It's gonna be fucking awesome! Coolest alive! It's gonna be fucking awesome! Stay with your tribe! It's gonna be fucking awesome! Revenge of the Geeks! It's gonna be fucking awesome! Week after weeks! It's gonna be fucking awesome! Laughing with you! It's gonna be fucking awesome! And crying sometimes too! It's gonna be fucking awesome! Spelling it out! It's gonna be fucking awesome! Making you shout! It's gonna be fucking awesome. Talking some shit. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Living your shit. My voice gonna be fucking awesome. Food in our mouth. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Get in the mouth. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Tell all your friends. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Call right or text. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Raising the bar. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Straight to the stars. It's gonna be fucking awesome. It's starting soon. Straight to the top of the awesome. Passing the moon. It's gonna be fucking awesome. On with the show. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Ready, set, go. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Fucking awesome. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Just wait. You'll see. You'll all see.
The podcast playground. Hooray!